I want to do a talk about something that's very, very important to me. I kind of touched on it yesterday, but I didn't really dive down deep into it. And that's 9 and 10 game. How to actually meet women that are, and again, when I say 9 and 10 game, even as I say it, it sounds kind of, in my mind, I'm like, this is so stupid to like use an absolute value. And are we talking about integers here? Or like, what do we do here? 9 and 10, what does that even mean, right? The reason why I still call it 9 and 10 game though, is because I don't have another system. It's just, that's the only reason, right? The cool thing is, or the nuance here is, what is a 9 or 10 to you, right? And then what is a 9 or 10 to you right now? And then what is your real 9 or 10? Because 9 or 10 to you right now is probably, for most of you, not the real 9 or 10. Here's the thing, my 9 or 10 and my best friend's 9 or 10, completely different. Is his 10 to me, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Have you seen her face? And then he'll look at me and goes, she's got a face? What? And I'm coming from a place where like, you know, my perfect schedule that I had for about 2-3 years is I lived like 3 to 4 days a week in Vegas and then 3 to 4 days a week in New York City. Because I love the Vegas craziness, but at the same time, I appreciate the top 3% of beautiful girls in New York City. He would hate that. He just, dude, I want side boob, not cleavage. I want like long, fairly tight flowing dresses and beautiful hair. I don't need a girl to have 1200 cc's. Someone's got to laugh. Raise your hand if you know what that means. There you go. Right. It's titty. It means 600 cc's in each breast. 900 is the legal maximum limit in America. You have to go to a different country to get 12. You know, it's a whole thing. The point is this: he likes like the most hottest porn star type girl in the world, and I appreciate that. But that's not my 9 or 10. I mean, I would have to. I'd have to do a lot of tequila shots. But if I saw her, I might decide then to do the tequila shots to get ready to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be judgmental, but at the same time, I realize that that's not my 9 or 10. My 9 or 10 is not at all what he thinks is a 9 or 10. In fact, to the point where he's my core person in my Luke army, right? So, have you guys heard me talk about the Luke army, the U army concept? Yeah.
No, I've heard about it.
Really? Are you fucking with me? Are you trolling me or serious?
I'm serious.
Cool. I respect the troll. It's fine. Yeah, you're serious. The U Army if that's all you get out of today, and I'm only going to talk about it for maybe 3 to 5 minutes, if that's all you get out of today, it's more valuable than any of the exercises or anything else we talk about. I mean, the U Army is another one of those things like what I described yesterday, that's like a fundamental thing that you should all just be doing. It's the most fulfilling thing you could possibly do in your life. In terms of the attractiveness of girls, right? For me, what you have to realize is this. There's what is classically the 9 or 10 across the board. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's what everyone's 9 or 10 is. So it's important to identify 2 things for your own inner game. And if you are like a note taker, this is actually something to write down, right? It's the fact that, and it sounds super obvious, but it's something that like when I came up with and when I learned this, it took me 3-6 months to do it because I'm not really a person that writes stuff down. So you write it down and then even just throw it away. You guys ever notice that? You write something down and you even even if you never look at it ever again, it still helps to like I don't know, maybe there's some mind pencil connection, I don't know. Point is this, there's 2 types of 9s and 10s. There's the 9s and 10s that I call the classic 9s and 10s. The classic 9s and 10s are the ones that we all can or should agree are 9s and 10s, even if they're not our type. Then the next type of 9 or 10 is the one that you're just like, holy fuck. You just like bite your fist at. You're just like, damn. I have a 3-point scale. I have a 3-point scale for me instead of a 10-point scale. A 3 is a girl that I would fuck and tell the world. I'd put her, not on my cover photo, I'd put her on my profile. I would tell the world, right? I would tell my buddies and everybody. A 2 is a girl I'd have sex with and I wouldn't tell a soul. I'd be like, somebody would be like, oh, did you rail that? I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. No, but in my mind I'd be like, oh my God, it was so good. But no, bro, I didn't hit it. A 1 is a girl that I would not fuck with your dick. Okay? Here's the thing. Once you identify that the fact that there are 9s and 10s that aren't your type, but they are in fact still 9s or 10s, and then you can segment that and categorize that, put that in a box, move it over here, and then say, oh, but I have my 9 or 10 that other people might not identify with. My buddy Michael, he only likes the largest fake breasts that you could possibly have. Which is fun for me because then that means that every girl he dates is one of my best friends. And I have, like every one of my female friends have the most gigantic, beautiful, amazing breasts that I've ever seen in my life. But like it does amazing things to my abundance, because literally I'll be at dinner, I'll just be like, ha ha ha, and I'll smack her titty. And then like, you guys remember my snap from the other night with the girl in the red dress? Anybody? Anyway, that girl, I pulled her back up and I was literally deciding, because she's a very solid 10 classically. She's not my 10, but she's a 10 to the world. Do you guys follow that? The problem with guys is they're like, oh, that's like, have you ever been to a nightclub and your buddy's like, oh, hit on that girl, and you're like, that's not my type. Raise your hand if you've ever said that's not my type to yourself or anybody else, right? I mean, let's all raise our hands because I've said it too. Such a horseshit excuse. Show me a nightclub that has all of your 9s and 10s just there. I need to go to like a club that has like a Spanish name for me to have that happen. I need to go to like Puerto Rico or Brazil or something for that to even be close to that, right? There's no way that I'm going to go to a nightclub and just see a nightclub full of my 9s and 10s. It's just not going to happen. The other thing is this. Every time you tell yourself there's a reason why you shouldn't approach, every time you tell yourself, I'm good, I don't really need to enter this set, you immediately are telling yourself that you're going to be worse off. When you see a girl that walks by, hot, ugly, like a gimp leg, maybe she's super hot, no gimp leg, like whatever it is, right? And you don't approach, you're telling yourself that you don't care as much about your success. The only reason that you don't approach, right, is safety mechanism. You don't approach because there's a list of reasons on why you shouldn't. Anybody not approach a girl because she's walking a little too fast? Right? How stupid is that? Oh, because her like most of our legs are longer than the girls, right? And but she's moving a little too briskly in a nightclub where she's not going to leave for that amount of time. But oh no, we don't need to approach because she's walking fast. Like, how homosexual does that sound? Oh, I'm not gonna. No, she left. She left. I can still see her. She didn't leave that far, right? What I'm getting at is this: when you see a girl, the only things that come into your mind are reasons why you shouldn't approach, not all the awesome opportunities that could happen if you do approach. Do you understand that? It comes down to evolutionary psychology. Have any of you guys ever read the book Why Women Have Sex?
No.
Raise your hand if you've read that book. Dr. David Buss, UT Austin. How good is that book?
Amazing.
Best book I've ever read. That's not true. Best book about sex I've ever read. The audiobook is great too because it has female voices. You read the
I didn't read the audio.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. It's awesome. My Secret Garden. Raise your hand. What the fuck are you guys reading? My Secret Garden. How crazy is My Secret Garden? You'll never, like, Thanksgiving, ruined for me forever. I'm like, yeah, my mom's a whore, fuck. God, they're all the same. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, that's what you are into, you fucking DP-loving bitch? What's wrong with you? Oh, there's a 1 in 10 chance that I don't know my own dad? Thanks, whore. Like, it's crazy. It's nuts. For the first 3 months, I was just like mad at women forever. And it took me that long to realize, oh, that's just the way that it is, and blah, 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 right? Any of you guys ever read what's the one that Owen's addicted to right now? The Rational Male?
The Rational Male.
You guys ever read The Rational Male? Yeah, you want some serious, realistic hatred? You read The Rational Male. Hypergamy doesn't care. Huh?
Sexual market value.
Yeah, sexual market value. I mean, it's an amazing, it's the most realistic book. It's like if Trump wrote a book about how to fuck girls, I feel like that would be the book. Where it's like, yeah, I know I'm fucking crazy, but you know what? I'm kind of right on a lot of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe the way I'm trying to fix stuff is completely wrong, but you know what? The deep-rooted thing, you know what I mean? It's like that would be his book, you know? He's like, I'm completely nuts, but there's a thing to it, right? So here's the thing. The best way to get 9s and 10s, right? Because I want to focus on this really, really aggressively for you guys. Once you separate the fact that the 9s and 10s that are in that nightclub aren't necessarily your 9s and 10s, it will take you maximum 8 weeks to meet and attract and have sex with your 9 or 10. The reason why that is because you're now able to admit that there are 9s and 10s that you don't necessarily want to date, marry, fuck, but you can still practice with them. You can still get exposure to them where there's someone else's 9 or 10. That's the part that people mess up on. They don't realize that there's plenty of 9s and 10s in the club. I don't really like the California bleach blonde hair chick, right? But last night, I saw a couple 9s and 10s. I only even approached like 5 girls last night. I was exhausted. I worked. And I saw a couple 9s and 10s. And I approached a few of them, and they were not at all my 9 or 10. But I approached them. I broke rapport. Breaking rapport is an umbrella category for attraction building in my formula. And that helped me for the chance when I meet my 9 or 10 in October 7th, 8th, and 9th. I have 60 of my 9 and 10s coming to Vegas to stay in 2 separate mansions, and I want to be calibrated for when they're there. So what do? I want to approach your 9 or 10, your 9 or 10, your 9 or 10. Well, not yours because of the guy thing, but I want to approach your 9 or 10. Right? I want to approach as many 9s or 10s as possible because I want to have such abundance and experience with 9s or 10s, but still tell myself that, you know what, that's not my 9 or 10. I'd still throw it in, but it's not my 9 or 10 at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. You don't see your 9 or 10 enough to, if you're a guy who is going to nightclubs and you're telling yourself, oh, that girl's not my type, she's not hot enough, especially on a boot camp type setting or when you're on a live coaching program to meet women out in the field, the number one thing I hear guys say is, oh, she's not my type. Yeah, but neither am I, and you're talking to me. So if you can point out your type in the next 2 seconds, then approach your type. If you can't approach your type, let's approach the closest thing we can to a classic 9 or 10, and then when you see your type, then let's go after that instead. So the first thing you have to do is categorize what are classic 9 and 10s that are real 9 or 10s. I used to be this guy who was like, yeah, I don't like club girls. I don't like those glossy girls. I call them glossy girls. You know the girls with like the makeup. They might not be a 9 or, once they take a shower and wash all that shit off, they might be more of a 7 or 8, right? It's all excuses. It's just because you can't do it. Prove to yourself that you can fucking hook up with that type of girl and then tell yourself you don't like it, right? Don't be somebody who just is like, yeah, but God, we're just not in, what's that stupid word? We're just not in alignment. We're not in alignment with our core values. Yeah, you know why you're not in alignment? Because she doesn't give a shit about you. It's so much better to hook up with that girl, date her once, have fun, and then tell yourself, yeah, we're not in alignment. Because then at least you're building the skill set and you're building the ability to take care of it.
In the self-made billionaire effect, they talk about...
In the what?
The self-made billionaire effect, they say that even with finance, that if you train your mind to be fearful of missing an opportunity rather than fear of failure, it actually trains your mind to, you get more scared about missing out on talking to that girl. And then,
exactly.
So,
is that a book or is that just a thing?
It's a book. I can't remember the author. It's the self-made billionaire effect. And
yeah, I want to take a look at that book because that sounds awesome. That's a really good way to describe how I get over approach anxiety. I create in my clients what I call reverse approach anxiety, which basically means that you are more scared and intimidated and have anxiety about not approaching girls rather than somehow mustering up the courage to approach. What you do is you beat the shit out of yourself mentally about every girl that you don't approach by thinking about the path that could happen from you approaching, the awesome experiences that could happen just from you approaching. You do that to the point where every girl that goes back past you, you have crazy FOMO, crazy fear of missing out of the opportunities that could happen. And now suddenly you have this anxiety of not approaching, but when you don't approach. So what ends up happening is the anxiety is relieved by approaching. So it's a fun process. Willpower is a capped out thing. You can't just have amazing willpower. It just doesn't work, right? It's just too hard to have willpower in every part of your life. So that's why you have to create positive habits. That's why you have to create situations in place that are processes so that you'll get your 9 or 10 without you having to muster up the courage each time and have the willpower to see what happens. Make sense? Cool. Next thing is this. The only way to get your 9 or 10 or the classic 9 or 10 is through social circle game. Period. The quicker you just admit it, even if you're like, I just don't like this whole social circle thing, just admit that and then we can move forward with it. Now, when I say social circle game, it doesn't mean a weekly, monthly, long-term process. It's the biggest myth I hear about social circle game. I've never met a guy who's good at cold approach and doesn't have a good social circle. Ever. That's not a sociopath or in jail or something. It's impossible because if you're good at cold approach, guess what you've built up in the process? Some social skills. Okay? So if you've built up social skills, guess what's going to happen eventually? You're going to have this wave of friends and people around you. That's just going to happen. There's no such thing as a dude who's like, yeah, man, I've fucked 300-400 girls, but I just don't have any friends. No, then you better contact a lawyer because I really don't, because it's a little creepy. If you've racked up that kind of a leg count and you don't have a social circle, either I don't believe it or something weird is happening. You guys understand that? Okay. I hate when I walk out of some bullshit place like Bungalow or some random place, right? And I see like a bunch of PUAs be like, hey bro, good to meet you. How are you? What's up? It's not because I don't like to meet you guys. I love it. It's awesome. And it's super flattering. And it's fun. But I'm like, where's your bitch? Like, where's your girl? Like, you know, like, let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. Like, why, I mean, I appreciate you coming up and talking to me, but where is your 9 or 10? Where is your girl that you're super stoked and excited and happy to be with? You want to know, I hate when guys, at least 20% of the guys that come into my program, we do orientation on Sundays, where it's like a deep dive into the guys' personalities so that we can profile them and increase their results, right? At least 20% say that the biggest weakness is state building. And I'm like, I mean, the little bit you guys know about me now, I mean, you can clearly tell how I'm going to answer that question. Sometimes I sometimes I just walk out of the room because I need to take a fucking breath or a breather. Or I'll go and play some ping pong. We have a ping pong table in the office. I'm not good at it, so I'm just like beating the shit out of it, right? I'm like, bro, state building? What are you talking about? How about you go for 9s and 10s? How about your weaknesses that you're not doing 9 or 10 game? If right now you walk out of this room and, I mean, hopefully not right now, you walk out of this room at the end of the program and you say, 9 and 10 game, that's my weakness and that's what my drive is, that's my motivator. Suddenly your state will go through the roof. You might have lapses in that. You might have girls who kind of reject you. You might have, I mean, you're going to have negative situations that happen. We all do. But think about it. How much more motivated are you going to be when you're actually going after the girl that you're super satisfied with instead of like climbing the ranks and kind of being okay with it, right? You have to stack the deck in your favor, right? The house always wins. Meaning, if you realize that you don't need to go after what you consider like average girls or girls that aren't the type of quality that you're into, game should be about punching above your weight. It's like the biggest asterisk if you're writing things down that you should think about. Game should be about punching above your weight. Why learn this stuff if you're not hitting on girls and attracting girls that are hotter than you are? That to me is the most amazing thing in the world, to have a high ADQ, attractiveness differential quotient. ADQ, attractiveness differential quotient. This Asian girl I picked up on a plane came up with that, and I was like, that's awesome. And then, yeah, I picked her up on a plane. I mean, I'm in planes when I'm in nightclubs, so it's my spot.
What's ADQ again?
Attractiveness differential quotient. You're Asians, I'm sure you'll get that real quick. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's the impressive thing. You are all, let's say you got like a sick beard, you got like some ripped jeans, you got some like orange shoes on, you got like a little fedora, you know, you got that whole actor thing going for you. Well, you shouldn't be picking up like frumpy chicks that like are okay at the Hudson. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Fuck that shit. Actually go to, some of you guys are not even going to places where your 9 or 10 even exists, where she's not even there. Raise your hand if you are the average place you go to, they're just, the classic 9 or 10 or your 9 or 10 just isn't even there really. There might be one, but it's not full of it. Raise your hand if it's not full of it. Okay, so right there, right? And there's some liars out there as well. But that's crazy. How are you not even stepping foot into the place where your 9 or 10 could be? Doesn't that sound a little odd? How are you you always in game, think about how do you stack the deck in your favor. There's a reason why casinos are so big and grandiose, right? Even if you make a ton of money in gambling, I have a couple friends that like make their whole living off gambling. It's like, cool, but you are the outlier because those casinos are huge and beautiful, right? Because they stack the deck in their favor. The house always wins. Treat your life like you are that house, that you are deserving of always winning. You don't have to go after subpar girls anymore. You can just go after the girls that are precisely your type.
Is that more advanced or is it just straight out? You're a beginner.
That's some straight up shit, bro. No, because here's the thing. How many of you guys thought that, I'm slightly biasing the thing, right? How many of you guys think that, or have thought in the past, even a fleeting thought, that you just want to kind of get some mindset stuff and you kind of want to get like your own personal stuff handled, and then eventually you'll get the exact type of girl that you're after, and eventually you'll get the 9 or 10, right? Raise your hand. Like honestly, right? Like that is exactly why. Dude, like I don't really get paid for today or yesterday. Like, I mean, hopefully it helps me long term, I guess, like business wise. But I'm purely doing like yesterday and today. Just, I mean, yeah, there's like probably 50% of it is like my brand or whatever you want to call it, right? But the rest of it is like to talk to you guys. But the rest of it is purely because of the fact that, raise your hands again, of the guys that put your hands up a second ago. That is exactly why I'm giving this talk today. The fact that you guys thought that at one point in time in the future you can go after your 9 or 10. Your exact type of girl that you're after. That is flabbergasting to me. That's crazy. You guys need to realize that you might not deserve that girl now, but you do deserve her at some point. Do you understand? You don't deserve her now, maybe. Maybe. A couple of you probably deserve her now. But not all of you guys that raise your hands deserve her now. That being said, you can deserve her in the next couple days, the next week, by just changing what you're doing and realizing that the question that you just asked, well, it is in fact a good question. The answer to that is 100% the fact that it's straight up. It's not this is some advanced verbose concept in the clouds. You can just put your feet on the ground and actually go after those 9s and 10s and live that lifestyle. Do you follow?
That's good. That's why they say you can borrow confidence from your future self in a way. You're knowing you're walking the path, borrow the confidence.
You can until you take weeks, and that's also, I 100% agree with that statement, and I also 100% think it's some marketing horse shit. Because how long is that path? Right? It's a clever way to be like, it's like the 7 ninja tricks to do whatever. The path thing, you got to be really careful on. It's also some spiritual mumbo jumbo too. I 100% agree with it, but you got to be careful to get out of the mumbo jumbo area, right? Because words like path, it's such a good marketing word, right? Because where's the completion? Where's the end? It's like the chiropractor who's like, not Arthur, he's amazing. It's like other chiropractors who are like, no, in the future we'll get you fixed once we're on, the 3,700 week continuity. But today, for the next month, we're going to do consults to really get in your mindset. No, fucker, fix my back. I don't need your consult. Fix my back. You know what I mean? And if we do need the consult, you can talk while you fix my back. I would rather pay. That's why I told you. I'd rather pay for the 3,700 weeks up front, and then I'll get it. Let's start the scam now. I get it. It's a monthly thing. It takes a long time to fix it. But before you, I had chiropractors who were like I'd see them for 2-3 sessions, and they literally don't touch me. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, at some, I get it, it's a whole business, whatever, you got to do the monthly thing, and to fix something that's monthly, but let's start it now. Let's not start it in several weeks, right? So this whole path concept, right? The path is this. You don't need to go, one of my students in San Francisco described it very, very well. I do a lot of Skype coaching. Well, I do 15 hours a week of Skype coaching, right? And it's crazy. He described this path where it's most personal development and most traditional ways of learning game. It's like this big circular path to then eventually come to where you're going to get results. But it's this path of entitlement, of bettering yourself. It's very you-focused. You guys understand that? Yeah. Okay? The stuff that I teach, the real 9 or 10 game, has got nothing to do with you. Don't change a fucking thing about yourself unless there's some obvious things to fix. I don't care what your mindset is at all. You can be the most pessimistic weirdo ever. Just do these things, watch the fact that you're now getting 9s and 10s, and then how quickly do you think your mindset will just kind of shift into place? Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. The path can be a much shorter path than a roundabout. It can be extremely short. So it all comes... Yeah. Because it comes down to this. Yeah, you know what? If you fix your mindset and you fix your confidence, you fix all of that stuff, of course you're going to attract hotter girls. Of course. When Owen comes in later, he's going to give you amazing stuff to talk about presence and energy, and he's the best guy in the world to teach you that kind of thing. But that's to better you. That's to make you a better person. That's to make you a better candidate for the girl that you do meet. I'm going to show you how you can stay a shitty person and still get the 9 or 10. Yeah, you don't have to change shit. Because there's just certain, I don't even think outer game is better than inner game. Long term, I think inner game is better. But I'll tell you what, hold on. I'll tell you what inner game I think is better than outer game. But I'm just not going to be motivated enough by the inner game results in a day-by-day basis, a week-by-week basis, to keep going, to then eventually get the results that I could just do with a few little outer game things, right? Yeah. It's like you last night, you fucked that girl, right? Yeah. Woo! The bitch learned who Arthur was! Little Arthur!
Is it the girl with the stripes?
Huh?
The girl with the stripes?
Yeah.
White stripes?
There you go. Fucking zebra. You fucked that zebra. Yeah, you fucked the girl on my snap! Woo! And it was only because I put them on my snap. He didn't do anything right. It was only because I put her on my snap. Yeah. I made your bitch my snap queen. I snap cuckolded you. I thought that was funny. Thank you. Yeah. So check this out, right? He doesn't have the greatest inner game, right? Wouldn't you agree that past, like, what, from your words, past month or 2 or 3, you've kind of had some of the biggest inner game struggles you've probably had in a while?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Even last night, like, were you super happy after all of your approaches? And I mean, each one, I could see your face. You were kind of dejected a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know? And I think that's probably a kind of, you know, the little bit that I know you now, it's kind of an average club experience. You don't go, I rarely see you in the club where you're just like, fuck yeah, let's get lit, let's party, let's open, hey, nothing matters.
No, it's like going to the gym for me, honestly. It's really uncomfortable.
It's super uncomfortable, and you see it in your face.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
Yeah? I mean, okay, how many can relate to that? I mean, that's, really? I mean, I can relate to that at some point, right? That it can be uncomfortable. Not all the time, but some, I mean, I think we'd be lying if we said every time we go to a nightclub, we're just super comfortable. I'm like, once in a while, we feel that way, right? But what is it, like, you're a perfect example. And I wouldn't say she's a 9 or 10, but I would say she was extremely hotter than average.
She's pretty hot.
I think she was pretty hot.
Yep.
I think she was a very solid 8 to a lot of your guys' 9. Like, she was definitely a very attractive girl. And it didn't go easily, right? You tried to pull a couple times. I would say you failed several times in the set where a lot of guys would just stop, right? But yeah, I would consider her a solid 9 actually, especially like an LA 9 for sure. Like a solid LA 9. Anybody see her on the snap? She was dope. You guys, I mean, how many of you saw the snap, right? She was pretty hot? Yeah, you saw her in person. She was hot, right? Oh, who saw her in person? Raise your hand. You all could have fucked her. Right? Seriously, y'all could have.
I was shooting for it, man.
Did you open?
I lost it, yeah. I was like, oh, hold on, I lost it, man.
Yeah, that's because he bought Social Blueprint, so he beat you. Kidding. It's not out yet, I'm kidding. Good job, though. Actually, he didn't even wash his hands yet, so you kind of touched her a little bit. Yeah.
I'm going to do this later, man, just to get from it.
It's really fun. It's really indicative, by the way, of somebody's personality based on the way they dismissive wank. You know the dismissive wank emotion? Like, some people are just like, this fucking shit. Some people are just like, it's like how mad at the world are you is like how little you make the dick. It's so funny. Whereas if like you're a very content, happy person, you're just like, fucking hey. Whereas he's just like, it's kind of fun. It's like his is like a 1 roper. His is like a 19 roper. Right? So back to this, right? So okay, so let's say it. The girl that Arthur fucked last night, solid 9. Not a 10, but a solid 9. Give him a hand. I thought he was going to curtsy for a second, right? Now, how much better do you feel about yourself and your confidence at least a couple hours to a day after you had sex with her compared to if you didn't fuck her and failed?
I feel great, man.
Great. Great. Could you feel that great by telling yourself how awesome you are? By looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, I'm going to conquer today. I deserve it. But you didn't fuck her and you still say those things. Would you feel just as confident and good?
Definitely not.
Of course not, because it's horse shit. It's horse shit. There's no way you're going to feel as good. Because that's not, you know, a good solid 8.5 inches deep inside of her.
Yep.
There you go, right? There you go. Hey, I'm 3 inches around. There you go. No. There you go. Hey, there we go. So, great job, Arthur. Seriously, really good job. Because when I first met you, dude, you were like borderline depressed about your success with women. You were just like, fuck, to the point where you're just like, I have no, like.
I was ready to give up.
Did you get? I mean, I don't know. Can you quick give like a half a sentence thing about your work situation with how we? Or can I say it real like super simply?
Sure.
Yeah, like you basically had such uncalibrated game, you got fired because of your game.
Yeah.
Like that's intense to like lose your income source over a game. How good do you think that's going to impact your confidence level?
Yeah.
It's not. It's going to go down.
Is he your student or?
What?
Is he your student or assistant or?
Arthur?
Yeah.
He's owning my chiropractor.
Oh, okay.
So it's like so he comes all of our stuff and chiropractor thing. Yeah. I had him come to Vegas. He stayed in one of my apartments. He was in a very brief version of Vegas immersion.
This is amazing.
What's that?
Immersion is incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, and it was a short version of it too. You didn't even get to experience the full thing. So, yeah, I mean, anytime you want to come. I mean, I have, that room in that other apartment I have is all yours. And actually, starting October 1st, I'm relaunching immersion in a way where everyone can live with me, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah, that changes everything, right? It's cool. Yeah. I mean, it's cheaper than a boot camp. So, yeah, it's pretty sweet because the reason everyone got such results before I was with RSD, and the reason I even had a business before RSD is everyone lived with me, and it was a year-long program you had to commit to, but the average stay was 2.5 years. I eventually got to the point where I'm just like, why aren't you guys leaving? What's happening? It was crazy. It was wild. I paid $3,500 a month for this 17, 19 bedroom house. There's like 11,000 square feet. It was crazy. It was amazing. We just crushed it. So now I'm bringing all those concepts that I did during that into my current Vegas immersion, and we're going to just absolutely crush it. I have a rule, like my guys can't hook up with girls that aren't 8, 9, or 10s unless they hook up with the girl in like an ice room or inside the casino, inside the hotel. If it's like an in-venue lay, a girl you sleep with like in the same venue that you met her in, then you can fuck anything you want. But if you pull her back to your place, it sounds so horrible. But then if you pull her back to your place, you actually have to fuck a girl who's 8, 9, 10, very attractive quality girl. Because I only let guys game in an area where even if you had an average level game, you would only be able to talk to girls that are minimum 8s, right? And that's really kind of the next key to 9 and 10 game. It's if you only allow yourself to meet and approach 9s and 10s, and you never improved. Who in here is not a virgin? Raise your hand. Not a virgin. Okay, cool. Not a virgin. You a virgin?
No.
Okay, I was like, really? Who in here has felt the warm desires of? Okay, if you're not a virgin, right? You have to understand this, right? I have this thing where if you just take, sweet, let's see. This thing is this. You can just go straight after the 9s and 10s. Hold up a second. You can just go after the 9s and 10s. You don't have to treat all girls equally, right? I don't mean you treat them poorly, but you don't have to treat them all equally. You can put categories in your life of girls that you're friendly with, girls even that you're flirty with, even girls that you make sexual jokes with, that you don't actually penetrate, that you don't actually get a boner for. And then there's girls that you do, right? You just don't have to keep building it upward and upward. You can just go after it. If you're always picking venues, if you're always picking the place that you're attracting women in, and the minimum girl there is an 8, 9, or 10, but you have the current level of game that you have, as long as you're not a virgin, and you've at least had sex with one girl, right? You at least know how to do that at least 1 or 2 times, then what's going to happen in that place with the current level of game that you have when you do have success? It's going to elevate your game, and the minimum girl is going to be what? An 8, 9, or 10. You understand? Just because you've chosen that place. It kills me when I see guys that are just like really good with game, and they're going to these like dive bars or Hudson or whatever the fuck it is. I'm like, what are you going to this horrible, what are you going to these places for when your game is actually fairly decent? Like, let's say you're a 10 level game, but you're going to places that have a maximum 7 level girl. What's the best that you can get? Okay, and let's say that you have a 5. But 5 is the median, right? You have a 5 level game, but you're going to places with 8 or above. You might not have sex all the time because your game's a 5, but what are the girls' quality level what is that quality level going to be in those venues? A minimum of an 8. This is so simple to me. That's all you have to do. And now suddenly you have 8, 9, and 10 game. Fuck it. It's just some simple adjustments to the puzzle that you throw together, right? If I had a little more time, I would like really rail into 8, 9, and 10 game properly with how you would do this. But what's that?
I like how you said rail.
Yeah, I try to use that word as much as possible, right? You guys good? Of course, it's in the bag. No, I'm 90% sure. I have no idea. I probably didn't bring it actually. I probably just brought the laptop. Why, are the Macs dead?
I think we just want to make sure they stay alive.
Shit, don't pull out the dildo. Fuck. The butt plugs. Leave those in there. The anal beads. Shit, he turned it on. Thanks. So, go for it.
Can you talk more about the U Army you talked about earlier?
For sure. Did you guys see the preview video of the U Army on my YouTube? You didn't see that? That was like the walking with the Bellagio, right? You saw that?
Yeah.
The U Army?
Talk about how people want to help you and just kind of allowing them to help you out and just whatever you're trying to do. That's the stuff what I got of it.
One of the most successful guys that I know is a personal coaching client of mine. I just worked with him in New York for, was it 2 or 3 days? And the dude's super successful, and to the point where I actually have to like try to give him extra game hours because as we're talking about game, he's giving me crazy like life and business advice, and I'm just like, this is not like you're paying me to coach you. Hold on, stop talking. I love everything you're saying, but let me keep coaching you game stuff because it's just I feel like the balance exchange is weird because he's just helping me nonstop. And the whole time I'm just like, dude, let me keep giving you game advice. Like I'll give you the craziest shit. Let's just chill out for a second. But the thing that he told me is the laziest people are the most successful people. The laziest people are the most successful because, and I have a whole video that I'm putting on this, right? Real 9 and 10 game is being lazy because you create the U army. I would hook up with a new 9. Right now I'm really business focused, so probably 2 9s a month to be super fair and honest with you guys. And then a couple 7s and 8s throughout the month. I probably sleep with like, on a bad month, like 6 new girls. That's like a pretty like shitty month. But only probably, currently only about 2 of those are 9s or above. The other ones are kind of just like, average, but really fun girls that I'm still into that are kind of my type. And the thing about this is I create the U army in such a way where I'm lazy. The laziest people are the smartest people. Anybody know why? They learn to use leverage. The laziest people are the people that, the stupidest thing you could do if you're in business, right? Let's say you're, anybody do tech, anybody a programmer or anything like that? The stupidest thing you could do is quit your tech job to then open your own tech shop and be your own employee and not hire tech people. Do you understand? Because then now you're your own HR department, you're your own secretary. Anybody do that when maybe you're a lawyer or an accountant? It kills me. I see anybody in law, like lawyers or anything, anybody here? No? Let's say you're a lawyer or an accountant. It's a good example, right? Or you're a software programmer. And then you decide, you graduate and you're like, hey, I want to open up my own tech shop. I want to open up my own freelance business, right? And then you realize that, wait, I'm my own secretary. I'm my own administrative assistant. I am my own, HR. I'm my own sales team. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, this is just now this 40-hour-a-week job that I had before turned into this 80-hour-a-week entrepreneurial effort. Like it's not actually creating processes. Whereas if you're lazy, the most successful guy that I know that I'm close with owns a bunch of rehabs. Okay, I lived with him in San Francisco for a year. He did my old year-long immersion, right? And the dude literally went from making $2,500 a month to making $100,000 a month within about 3-4 months. He credits it all to this one book. I think that's a little bit far-fetched.
Revisited?
Not at all. I wish, because I read that book and I didn't make that jump. It's called Transurfing. Maybe read Transurfing. It's a Russian book. There's an English translation. It's called Transurfing. It's part of my product and part of just like I'm trying to make my YouTube a little bit more like conversational between me and the people watching it. I'm going to start doing some book review type stuff, and I'm going to heavily review that one. It's by far the best intergame book in the world. It takes the stuff that's in The Secret and just explodes upon it and makes, even if you're like, oh, The Secret, that's kind of neat, but that's a little bit weird. Transurfing will make you a complete believer in all this stuff. It's crazy. He credits the entire amount of his success just reading that book, right? Aggressive quantum physics. Yeah, but like quantum physics sounds like, oh, okay, quantum physics, all right. Fucking clear your chakras, I get it. But quantum physics is like, the book makes it so crazy practical to your life that there's 6 volumes. After you read each volume, you're just like, holy shit. Like I've never read a book that, and I haven't even got through all 6 because it's so dense. I've really only made it even through 4 volumes, but every time I do it, I'm just like, the world isn't the same. But I think the world isn't the same in like a weird woo way. I'm like, no, shit is different than I ever thought. The book is amazing. Anyway, this guy credits the entire success with that. And now he's doing like $600,000-700,000 a month, on an average month. But the point of me saying this is he has no idea what rehabilitation is. He has no idea how to like help people get over drug. It's a drug addiction place, right? He's not a therapist. He doesn't have a college degree. He's got no idea what the fuck he's talking about. But his program is one of the most highly rated programs in all of Silicon Valley.
Wow.
I remember Think and Grow Rich on the point that talked about something like that about some guy who's like real rich. He has a steel mill company, but has nothing, has no money.
Read Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Based on his recommendation.
You said Transurfing?
Transurfing. Transurfing. 6 volumes. I believe the author is Vadim something.
Can you spell that once more, please?
Transurfing. I mean, you could literally spell it any way. I feel like Google will correct it. Transurfing. I'm in the process of creating my own illegal audio version of it, me speaking, that I could give to people. I'm going to try to contact him. He's very elusive. Go for it.
Another book,
And then I want to finish his question, but is it related to this, or can you hold on?
just another book on the same vein.
Oh, go for it. Yeah, go for it. That's fine.
Amazing. Ask and it is given is one of the most.
Louder. What is it?
Ask and it is given.
Ask and it is given.
By,
That's his recommendation.
It's changed my life.
Ask and it is given. I like the sound of that.
It's amazing.
So the U Army is how I take the concepts in transurfing and I apply it to a way that I can actually get real tangible results. I love The Secret. The problem is people will read The Secret, they'll read Think and Grow Rich, and then sit at home and jerk off. And they're like, no, I'm manifesting this shit. And you're like, you're manifesting like a bunion. Like, what are you manifesting? Like, relax, dude. You're manifesting nothing, right? How about you go manifest some actual pussy or something, right? So, I mean, the guy literally says the only difference he made, he was making $2,500 a month as a bank teller, like a member service representative. And then all of a sudden he decided to read this book. He read the book. Immediately he started this rehab. He was not a therapist, and he had no rehab clients. He literally just parlayed it in value arbitrage, right? Value arbitrage is a big concept I talk about where you have a lot of value, he's got a lot of value, you don't know each other, I introduce you, and I'm the middleman, and I get an exponential effect, even more than the two of you, because I just made the introduction, I get it bestowed upon me, right? It's like all the stuff we talked about yesterday with the money thing, right? Some guy asked, is it a financial thing? Like if you don't have a lot of money for the bottles, like how do you do it? Or enough money to do big dinners for groups of people, how do you do it? Well, I don't have $13,000 a day I can spend on bottles, right? But I still have 13 grand a day worth of bottles, right? So the point is you leverage all of this stuff into a cascading effect. So the reason why the U Army is so important is because you don't have to do it all. They take you under their wing. That you create a situation where people are excited and invested into your success. The more invested, if you had to define something, right? Attraction equals what? What would you guys say it is? Value, self-entitlement, what would you, what's your definition of attraction? Someone raise your hand. What is attraction?
Value.
What is it? Value, what else?
Self-confidence.
Self-confidence, what else? Looks, what else? The guy in the back with his head nodded back, what is it? What's attraction to you? Yeah.
Being pulled towards something or someone else.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right? In terms of something that you can use, attraction equals investment. Period. The more investment you have from the other person, the more attraction you're going to have. All of your game should purely come down to how much investment and participation and buy-in can you get from the other person. That's in business and with women, right? That's why, like when Owen talks about having these like super long videos, well, a lot of people are like, why don't you have those quick 3-5 minute videos, right? A friend of mine's got 1.7 million YouTube subscribers, Alpha M. I don't know if you guys have seen it. He was on Shark Tank. He looked terrible on Shark Tank, but he's actually a really, really cool guy. Great advice. His videos are like 3 to 5 minutes with like a fucking, not our awesome cameras, right? It's just like a little camera or whatever, right?
Does he own the YouTube channel called Alpha M? Like the guy who gave a lot of fashion tips?
Correct.
He's from Atlanta, right?
I think he lives in Chicago, but I think he is from Atlanta. His office is in Chicago. That's how I know him. Anyway, the point is this, right? You create this leverage. You have to create that leverage. Usually, let's go back to the U Army. I'm gonna touch on the Alpha M guy a little bit later. You create this leverage in your life because people are invested into your success. Once you realize that people are excited about, I borderline, like 49% of me would rather get you laid than me. Right? 51% probably me, but I would rather get you, like, I'd rather get you laid than the random person walking down the street, right? Because it fulfills me. To be honest, it gets me super excited to help you out, right? It's kind of even a selfish reason. Like, it just makes me feel good. It's like, oh, I could, like him getting laid. I might be happier about him getting laid than him. Probably not, but maybe, right? Because I had like something to do with it, right? I kept throwing him in the set. It was like a little, me and Alfonso had as much to do with it as I did. Like we were like working really hard for that to happen for him. So I'm stoked about it because I'm invested in his success. Do you follow? So when you create the U Army, you're getting these 9s and 10s without you actually doing all of the effort and the work. The hottest girls I've ever hooked up with were because I did very little. It was sometimes because the people that were introducing me to those 9s and 10s told me, hey, shut the fuck up. Just stand there. Just shut up, bro. Right? Because I wanted to do all the jokes and all the stuff. And they were like, yo, no, it's done. Keep it going. Because I create the you are me, and the way that I create the you are me is every person that's in my life, I tell them exactly. I mean, you guys all already know what type of girl I like, right? Because it's the lead-in that I talk about. I make it extremely clear to the point where I have these like funny one-liners about what I like. Will I hook up with other girls? Of course. Will I make friends with other girls? Of course. But my rubric of the type of girl that I'm into, what my 9 or 10 is extremely specific. Right? They're brown, I'm down. You know, I want a Coca-Cola bottle, right? I want a girl who's like, I'm gonna take Iman Shumpert's girl. Like I'm totally gonna take his girl. You know Iman Shumpert's girl? Huh? Holy shit. Right? Yeah, you know, yeah. I'm totally, I'm not kidding. Like, I mean, me and him are already Eskimo brothers. And Eskimo brothers means you've both been in the same hole. So, no, I'm not kidding. On a scale of 1 to 10, she can get it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give her 1. Get it? She can get the business, right? So I create this you army. Well, creating the you army is how I met Dan Bilzerian. Creating the you army is how I met Lindsay Palis, and how me and Lindsay Palis are, you guys know who Lindsay Palis is? Yeah. Raise your hand. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is she? Yeah. I mean, 10, like she's not my 10, but she's definitely a 10. Me and her have an app coming out soon. You guys know who Cleats and Cleavage is? Yeah? Raise your hand if you know who Cleats and Cleavage is? Cool. I mean, that's probably in the top 5 hottest girls I've ever fucked, for sure. I mean, Cleats and Cleavage to me, like Ava is her real name, like that. I mean, I pounded it out at Dan Bilzerian's house. Omit the whole thing. Yeah. The cool thing is I have it all on infield too. It's just I can't use the footage because there's too much shit happening. But she's probably in the top 5 girls I've ever had sex with. I love that girl. Like she's amazing. Super super cool. It's so good. But I did nothing to fuck her. I literally did you army techniques in order to get into Dan's house. Once I was there, I just kept my mouth shut and made sure I stood next to her for as long as possible. And then, oops, I fell into her. Well, I was a little tired by the end of the day. I fell on my back and then she fell on top of me. But
are you literally like in a conversation with Dan, like you describe her, or you're like, I need that next time she comes through and then he hooks it up? Is that what you mean? Not
in this case, but yes, that does happen, right? Here's the thing. I was talking with you about the friends, like guys who are critical of pickup. I laugh at that. Anybody here have friends who are a little bit, you've talked to them about pickup and they're a little bit critical of it or think it's weird? I mean, anything. Okay, they can all go to hell. Yep. Because not only do, I so don't have time for friends who are critical of pickup because that means you're critical of me, so you can go fuck yourself. Like seriously, I mean, you're gone. Like I'll block your number. You're out of my life. Like I don't have time for it. My hopes, goals, and ambitions are bigger than me or that person. So if that's how little you respect my friendship, that you're going to be critical of like. Not only do I not want you to be critical of this, but I want you to be actively seeking out 9s and 10s for me that are my type. That is my you are me. So the start of it is, first time I ever met Dan, I'm like, yo, hey, where are the Hispanic girls at? Right? You got any Boricuas for me? Boricua means Puerto Rican. I was like, you got any Puerto Ricans for me? I was like, gosto de baboseta. Where's that bonita boceta? It means beautiful pussy in Spanish. Gosto de baboseta means I want to suck a lot of your pussy right now. And then like he didn't know what that meant, but I knew there was a Brazilian girl next to him, so she just starts like laughing her ass off, which then made Dan think I was cool. Because he's like, oh, it's like the 3rd thing I know in Portuguese. Like I know like 5 things total. Like I don't know it. But like that's a good thing to know. You kind of can repeat it over and over again. So that girl was an absolute 9 or 10. This wasn't the famous celebrity that I fucked. It was the just some random hot girl, and the entire time it was crazy. I made her laugh. He thought that was funny, but it reinforced the type of girl that I'm into. He will literally text me randomly. The last text he sent me was last night about stem cell, injecting stem cells or something. But the text before that was, hey, I got a couple brown girls on the boat. Are you in Vegas? And I was like, no, man, fuck. And he's like, oh, man, these would be perfect for you. Like, you might not be able to get a guy like Dan Bilzerian to say these kinds of things tomorrow, but you can get other people in your life. That's why, wait, you're critical of pickup? No. Not only do I not want you to be critical of pickup, right? You might not have to like read the game or anything, but I want you to be actively putting in work for me. Because if you're my friend, I'm going to do way more than that for you. So the you army is essentially a group of people that know exactly what your type is and then are motivated to pursue that. It's a lot less difficult. Once you're able to actually identify what your type is to the closest people that are around you, that alone will be the filter. Because there's going to be 10% of people that are like, why are you telling me this? I don't care. If they don't even care to hear that, they can go fuck themselves. Seriously, like seriously, how many people in your life do you probably have some friends that like, because of you've known them a while or because of some reason, you're still friends with, that you're just like, man, I don't really need this person in my life if I'm really going to be honest. Anybody? Okay, 100% of us probably should raise our hands. Seriously, right? I mean, I still do, right? I mean, this guy's like, yes, all of them, right? All can go to hell. No. So, I mean, but seriously though, right? Like, if you're critical of pickup's stupid, pickup's retarded, whatever. That aside, because you're afraid of like a weird Google search of what this means and then an acronym, whatever, dude. It's so much different than that. It's so much bigger than that. The point where it's to actually build that you army. First step is just test it. Just tell everyone in your life, holy shit, that girl is fine. She could get it. Say lines like that. Because it reframes everybody in your life to know. Studies show that your testosterone will go up just by talking like this. There's probably somebody here who's a lot smarter with this kind of thing than I am. But just by talking like this more often. Anybody here have not necessarily ED, but like any sort of sexual performance anxiety or any sort of sexual issues like whatsoever? Like at all? Raise your, anybody? I have a problem that like the wind blows and like I'm like, oh shit. Fuck, go down. You know, like because I always talk like this. If I realize there's a couple months that goes by where I'm not talking sexual, then suddenly I start having those kinds of potential problems. But because of the way that I talk, they're never a problem. So in order to get those 9s and 10s, the first thing you have to do is the you army. So when you're doing that you army, you're literally, the first step of that is literally telling people in your life, I'll even just ask them, I'll be like, yo, where are the brown bitches at? And then they'll be like, wait, what'd you just say? So if they're either like, oh, they're over here. If they don't say that, they're going to say, wait, what'd you say? Like they're slightly offended or they're confused. I'll go, no, you don't understand. I don't call them bitches out of disrespect. I just don't know their names individually. Right? Which is, yeah.
Just to add on to what you were saying, like how they think, like just talking to some other fellow members here, they were saying how, people think that we're going to be weird by doing something like this and, judge us. I think it's better for us to do this and be able to go what we want as opposed to not knowing why you can't attract and be living like
That's a phenomenal politically correct way to say it. I completely agree. I don't have time to be that nice about it. You guys ever heard hire slow, fire fast in terms of business concept? Why don't we apply that to our friends? Like, our longevity of how long we know each other is irrelevant. The amount of experiences that we've shared, which can be indicative of how long we know each other, right? So there is a little bit of a link to that. Like, what have we done for each other? That builds trust. Length is a facade of trust, right? I mean, I've had people I've known for years and years, kind of fuck me over. Not like bad or whatever, but do shit that I'm just like, wait, we've known each other for ages. What are you doing? And then I had to remind myself, and I'm like, oh, we just haven't really done a lot together. Like, time is an irrelevant kind of verbose concept, right? So when I'm creating that you army, the very first thing I'm going to do is tell everybody in my life, shit, if they're brown, I'm down. They're a minority, they're my priority. They like I'm white and bright, I'm just right. And I'm just going to like go over and over again, right? I'm going to talk about how I'm going to tell every girl in my life, man, I don't understand. Why do you not like guys with blue eyes and blonde hair? The girls, check this out. The next girl that you hit on, the next girl you approach, who's a 9 or 10, look at her and say, I don't understand. So you open her, a couple sentences goes by, and tell her, I just don't understand. Why don't you like guys with blue eyes and blonde hair? Like, you seem really nice, but I don't understand. And you have no idea if she likes that or not. Okay? Just out of the blue. It's literally an NLP thing, right? Just out of the blue, say that. And then always, 100% of the time, and don't say blue eyes and blonde hair if that's me, okay? You would say something else, okay? That just happens to be me, right? You can say anything about you, tall, dark, and handsome, or whatever it might be, right? Or why don't you guys like guys who are portly, short, and got a limp? No, say something that's either neutral or positive about yourself. But be inquisitive, be curious. I just don't understand. Anytime you want to appear genuine with a woman, especially a very attractive woman, 9 or 10, instead of trying to be genuine or authentic, be surprised, and that will convey genuineness. If you try to be genuine with somebody, what's going to happen? You're trying to be genuine. It's not going to come off as being genuine. But if you come off as surprised or inquisitive, then you end up looking like you're being genuine or authentic. Does that make sense? Sweet. So immediately look at her and be like, I just don't understand. Why don't you like guys with blonde hair and blue eyes? What's your problem? You don't like white guys? Obviously, if you're not white, you say something else, right? And then immediately, what do you think the girl says? Even if she's a snow bunny, even if like, because most of the girls that I like, they don't like me. Like I go to, have you guys ever been to Greenhouse or Whip? Anybody? Greenhouse and Whip are like the thuggest clubs in all of New York City. It's where Tony Parker got his eye scratched with the glass. You guys remember that a few years ago? Yeah. You guys remember that? I was there the night before. My goal is to go to a club that's like so high end, but also so hood that I like a little bit of a safety concern. That club had the hottest, like half black, half white girls. It had the hottest like Hispanic girls with blonde hair. Like there's just these like striking music video type girls. There were a lot of white girls too, but they were all snow bunnies, right? You know what a snow bunny is?
No. Oh, what's that?
You gotta know what a snow bunny is. Yeah, I know you know. Come on.
White girls that love black guys.
A snow bunny is a white girl that likes black guys. Right? I mean, it's kind of any girl that likes black guys, but it's specifically a snow bunny. It's a white girl that likes black guys. So I'm looking for the Hispanic version of the snow bunny, right? So anyway, the point is this. So I'm talking to her. I'm like, why don't you like white guys with blue eyes and blonde hair? I just don't understand. And then immediately, what do you think she says?
No, I do.
That would be awesome. Sometimes. Usually the girl says, I never said that. Who told you that? Anytime you do a qualifying statement to a girl, even if it's true, the girl always resists it and fights it a little bit, which creates the cognitive dissonance, which then creates the investment. A girl who's a real 9 or 10, you probably won't have enough value. You won't have enough entitlement to actually get her. The more you muster up, it's just not going to happen. You have to do these techniques to get it. Then once you get it, you're going to end up feeling like Arthur, where the boner you used to fuck the girl with lasts the next day. Because you fucked a girl that's a solid 9, right? But there was no inner game, anything that he did. The inner game stuff that Arthur does helps him just feel better about his life in general for the rest of his life, which is amazing. But it didn't help him get that girl, right? His face, the only reason why I videoed him, because his face looked disgruntled as fuck. He was like, I'm gonna dance with this girl, but she's not gonna like me. Like that's why I videoed him, to make fun of him, to be like, yo, bro, this is what you look like. And then, then he smiles a little bit. But like even in the video, I'm looking, I'm like, dude, like, shut the fuck up! You're dancing with a hot chick. It's crazy, right? So I tell that girl that. She goes, wait, what? I never said I don't like those kind of guys. Who told you that? She starts fighting back with me. Immediately I go, your friend, right there. The friend never said shit. But the hotter the girl, the more likely I am to be like, why don't you like guys who? And I'll kind of describe myself, obviously in a good light. And then I'll be like, yeah, your friend just said that. I mean, it's okay. We can be friends. It's cool. I'm not looking for anything serious. And this is after like the third, fourth sentence. I'm like, we're not looking for anything serious. This is cool. We can just be friends. But then I've already got her on this path of trying to like figure this thing out of why she doesn't like guys like this. Then now she's on this investment path trying to figure out like why the fuck her friend said that. Even if it might be true. Maybe she's a snow bunny. But at the same time, she's still trying to figure it out because I created that cognitive dissonance in her mind. You follow? Cool. Does that make sense? Sweet. So then she's going to ask the friend, and she's like, why the fuck did you say that? And of course, I'm me, so I'm going to like blow it up as big as possible. So that way the impact is that much larger. And then she's like, why did you tell him that I don't like white guys with blue eyes and blonde hair? And then she's going to be like, wait, I never told him that. And then she's going to look at me and I go, you're going to lie to me already? We're going to get off on that kind of foot? And the girl's like, wait, what? And then immediately the girl I'm talking to looks at her friend and goes, wait, you lied to him? Right? Just because she's so wrapped up in the moment. This happens almost verbatim about every time. And then the girl's gonna be like, I never lied to him.
Wreck the friendship.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. So then the friend's gonna be like, I never lied to him. And then I'm just gonna go, yeah, I mean, you never lied to me, but I mean, let's be serious. You did say that though. And then the girl's like, what? I said what? And I go, we're gonna play this game. I mean, we could do this song and dance all night, but you know that you said that she doesn't like, she clearly thinks I'm sexy. She clearly likes me, but you know that you just said that she doesn't like guys with blue eyes and blonde hair. Like, let's move forward at least so we can keep this thing going. I never said that. Why'd you tell him that? Da 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 da. And the whole time I'm just like, and then eventually the girl's just like, oh, you fucking asshole. Well, I can't believe you tried to say that and da 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 da. I'm like, come here. You just wrap her up in a hug, right? And the whole time you get this massive break in rapport attraction builder because of that whole thing. You got it? But while it's all happening, I'm interweaving the type of girl that I like by disqualifying the girl. So the next thing about getting these 9s and 10s, you have to disqualify the shit out of them. Disqualify the shit out of them. Who knows what a basic disqualifier is? Raise your hand. Holy shit. That's awesome. That's amazing. Because even all those hands, they were still kind of like limp, right? They're as limp as Arthur is now after he fucked that 9. Right?